Hello my friends, thank you for being here. In this video, I thought I might take my best in beauty video in a little different direction. Typically I'm all done, and I sit here and I share my favorites, but I felt like the favorites I was coming across this month actually come together to create a really cool look. Now I'll tell you right off the bat, there are gonna be two things in this look that I can tell you right now. I love them, but they're not like favorite status. They're newly swooping into this thing, okay? It's gonna be the mascara I use and primarily the manner in which I use that mascara and a lip product, but everything else is definitely favorite. I feel like I'm getting through what might be a sinus infection here, and I was a little congested in the night last night. That's my new single, Congested in the Night. So I might not be sounding top-notch in this video, but I'm feeling a little better in my head. I'm not having all the pressure right at this time, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm gonna kick things off with something that was actually a favorite last month, and it's still a favorite now. It's my top kind of priming product. It's the Master Blur Stick from Maybelline, and this actually comes in like skin tone colors. It comes in a colorless one as well, but I have it in light medium, and so I'm not gonna talk too terribly long about this because I know I did at length in my last Best in Beauty, but I think this is a fantastic thing for kind of helping to diminish the look of pores and actually be truly effective at that. I think there's so many things with the pore minimizing claim, and this just really does well. And something that I think makes it kind of unique is the fact that it is in that sort of skin tone shade, so it doesn't end up looking like this waxiness on the skin like some balmy products of this type do. So I've got that all over my nose and kind of around the sides primarily, and just sort of lightly everywhere else, but this would be the main pore zone, and I do notice a difference. And I think my foundations wear really evenly on top of this stuff, so I'm a fan. I think that's a cool product. Next up would be my favorite foundation of the month, and I'm gonna give it up to the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation because I don't think I own anything else that's quite this full coverage, yet also this lightweight to the extent that it pretty much feels like nothing on your skin. That's a really unique combination to have in a product, and I have really great staying power with it. I have a full review on this if you're interested, but I wear the F7 shade, and pardon my buck foot, but let's get this on. I've realized the more I've used this that if I kind of pace myself with getting it like put on my skin, I can cover my full face and have enough product do my full face with just one like dip out of this thing. But sometimes I do end up wanting just a little more, so I'll use the back side just to add a little more in a couple places where I feel like I didn't get enough. And then I'm just gonna grab my Sigma F84, and in areas where you really want that amazing coverage, just dab right over it. We all know where our problem areas are. Mine aren't so much down on the low part of my cheeks, so I'm really just gonna go ahead and get that all buffed. But when it comes to the under eye, top of the cheek zone, where I've had melasma, might have a dark circle or two, then you do your little patting motion, and the coverage is amazing there. And I love how it feels equally lightweight even if you do build it up a little bit over certain places. That was a really cool effect. I think it can achieve that concealer optional full coverage skin, and the proof is in the application right here. Really, really pleased with it. It's good on a lot of levels for me, but I would say the number one most fascinating thing is that it covers this well, yet feels this truly weightless. And I also like that it doesn't remain tacky on my skin too. In my full review, I did a lot of comparisons to the Maybelline Superstay because that's a drugstore foundation that I absolutely love. I still love it, and I do love the pump style mechanism that helps you dispense the product out, but it does have like a little richer, thicker, heavier feel. And I just feel the texture of the product more on my skin after I've gotten it all blended in. This is kind of like, okay, gave you your coverage, see ya, you don't have to feel me anymore. So I've got that all over, and I do feel like I could get away without concealing here. In fact, I don't think I'm even gonna bother around the nose, but I do have a concealer I really wanna talk about today, so we're gonna use it. And it's the Bare Minerals Bare Skin. This is called the Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. Do a lot of people not know about this? Is this some kind of secret? Because this is awesome. I think this is a really cool stuff. Now, I have a stash of Bare Minerals over here. I really enjoy using it from time to time, just dipping into that technique and trying that as a little deviation from regular foundation. I'm a huge makeup nerd, so the thought of doing that is fun to me. But when I stocked up on some new Bare Minerals stuff, I had picked up this concealer, and I hadn't really used it for a little while. It sort of just sat there until more recently. I have it in the shade Light, and I realized it has this fascinatingly lightweight feel, yet very, very good coverage. It's the same reasons why I value and enjoy this foundation, you know? And don't get me wrong, Revolution's Conceal and Define Concealer is great as well, but I kind of love how this concealer really does not get too dry around my under eye. I love the way it wears in that zone, and I'm just dabbing it in with my Sephora Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush. And again, the shade is Light. It's kind of perfect. And I get this lightweight yet beautiful coverage, easy to blend, not gonna set too quick on you, not gonna freak you out like I've gotta operate at 90 miles an hour to get this concealer blended. Like, it's good stuff. And I don't hear a ton about it, but my word, I'm so pleased whenever I put this on. And for a super lightweight look, I've also used this on top of my Complexion Rescue. And that's the Bare Minerals sort of tinted moisturizer type product. So you can put that all over. You've got very light coverage. Spot this around where you need a little extra, and everything comes off so natural. It's like you legitimately do have good skin. You faked your way to it at that point. Or some of the first ways I used this was just popping it on before the Bare Minerals original foundation. So you get a little bit of pre-coverage, you know, and then you just buff over everything with the mineral foundation. But I mean, I got no complaints. And when you touch it, the skin feels a little more hydrated than it might with the Conceal and Define Concealer, definitely more so than with Shape Tape, but it's not ultra tacky. It's not coming away feeling like the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, which that's a product I love, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of concealers. It doesn't feel as tacky and hydrating as the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. I'm just finding this to be a really nice kind of middle ground, you know what I mean? So props to that. Now, my powder favorite is a rediscovered love here. It is my L'Oreal True Match powder, pressed powder. I wear this in the shade Buff Beige. Using this with my e.l.f. complexion brush, and I'm just gonna dab this all over. I'm not gonna use anything special on the under eye. I'm just gonna let this be my light layer of setting powder all over my face. I don't feel like I need a lot because, again, the foundation is feeling like skin and light as air, but I just feel a little more comfortable having a light bit of powder all over everything. And if you haven't tried the True Match powder, I mean, it truly is one of the hidden gems of the drugstore. This is a powder that I think is like powder foundation-like quality. It's very soft, very smooth, dare I say creamy. I think you could buff this on with like a flat top, real dense brush and get some major coverage out of it. But for me, I mean, this shade's really good for me, and I'll just kind of dab it around. Around my nose, I almost feel like I'm kind of pressing it in. And boom, I feel like I'm set. I feel like I've done something to enhance much hair, the staying power of my look overall. Next up, really interesting product here that I've been enjoying and I've been researching and just having a fun time kind of digging into this. It's the Too Faced Sugar Peach Wet and Dry Face and Eye Palette. And you know I love anything that's tempting me to use it on the face and the eyes. I love a little multitasking, right? So in here we've got, to me, what look like a couple of blushes, a highlight. I use this in the same manner I would use a bronzer, and everything does have shimmer. Even this one appears to have a little bit of a micro-fine golden sparkle, although I don't really feel like it translates to the skin. But you can use this stuff wet or dry. You can get some profound effects if you use it wet, like take a damp beauty blender, pop into the blush or the highlight or something, and put it on your skin, and it is epic. I watched Makeup by Tiffany D do that with the highlight, and I was like, I had to stop everything just for a second. The textures are so soft and beautiful, and I've done some pretty neat little eye looks with it as well. So I'm kind of liking this thing. Another great video that I watched on this was a video put out by Sephora, and they had their makeup artist guy. He's bald. Oh, what's his name? He's fantastic. I really like him a lot. And that was a video where he explained how a peachy blush like brings a look of heat to the skin, whereas a pinky tone blush brings a flush from within kind of thing. Just just interesting tidbits I garnered from that video, but I'm gonna stop now and I'm gonna just put it on. First up, I'm gonna use Peach Honey just with my complexion brush here, and I'm just gonna take that lightly around my hairline. Now I realize on some skin tones this may operate like a highlight, but on me it just gives a little bit of depth, and I'm not attempting to do a major contour here. I'm just putting it a little lower on my cheek than I planned to put my blush. But I took a picture of myself the other day wearing this whole palette, and I thought I looked so young. I don't know, maybe it was just the whole style of my makeup, but my skin just seemed so incredibly fresh. And I mean, I've been sick, and I felt like I just infused myself with a look of absolute health. It was great. So see what we're doing there? We're popping the deeper Peach Honey shade just right in here. And I went around the hairline with it too. You know, I need to dampen my little beauty blender guy here because I want to show you the highlight wet. Anyone else's cat like to sleep on the toilet seat? I go in there to dampen my sponge and she's just like, okay, sorry to disturb you. I'm actually gonna do blush first, then the highlight. I think I will do some of this peachy shade here. This is called Sugared Peach. This is the one that I felt like had some sparkle in it. I'm putting it kind of like Sephora advised on the outside of the face a little bit. I'm letting that come up a little bit here too. But I feel like the sparkle just dusts away. Like it doesn't cling into the skin. I don't find myself with annoying glitter flecks in my rearview mirror at preschool drop-off. You know, it's just, it doesn't hang around, so fine. And then Peach Pop from a distance looks more pink. It actually does have a lot of gold in it though. It's a really subtle blush and it's very glowy in itself. So if you wanted to apply this blush and skip highlight, you probably could, but I'm just gonna pop that on kind of right in this zone. I can see a little pink, but I see it more where the skin isn't catching the light so heavily. But I've just kind of fallen in love with the tones in this palette. I feel like it's just super wearable and easy. Now here's my sponge. I believe this one is from Sigma. It resembles the look of a beauty blender, but with a flat side. So it's got the little butt end of a beauty blender. Maybe if I could just hold it still for a second. The flat angled side, similar to a Real Techniques sponge. I'm gonna put my finger on that side. It's a lot like the shape of that black NYX sponge I was really into for a while. And I'm gonna pick up product right in here. And I'm gonna do the highlight that way. So you've picked up some. Sorry, complete focus required. It is so intense, and let me tell you, the highlight's plenty when you use it dry, but it's kind of fun to play with it wet because it steps it up even further. Like, who am I? I don't even know anymore. Okay, let's try it on the other side. I've got sort of an oblong amount of product, so I'm sort of angling the blender and then just bouncing it in. Like whatever's maybe hanging around on your sponge, just bopped around wherever else you want to. But yeah, when Tiffany D did this, I was like, I must try that. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that product, a little bit of that shade, which is a very wearable highlighter shade. You know, it's not stark white. Glowing Goddess, why not? Go there if you want to. If you need to take it down a notch, take a little bit of your L'Oreal True Match and just dust over, and it'll still show through quite a bit. My next things for brows, I'm not even sure if they get to qualify as favorites because they've just been used and talked about to no end. So they're my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in Deep Brown and my L'Oreal Boost and Set in Dark Brunette. I just like these products. They're becoming like a real standby for me. I've been playing on and off, continuing to mess with this Physicians Formula thing from the You Picked It video, Subscribers Pick My Makeup. That's called Brow Last, and I'm a little more comfortable with it now. Like, I'm kind of getting some little methods for slowly picking up that product a little bit at a time and not being so overwhelmed by goop. But it's just not really my comfort zone yet, and I just prefer this sort of a look. So I'm just gonna fill these in real quick. Sometimes when I feel like I know my eye look is gonna be light and gentle, spoiler alert, it's gonna be a light and gentle eye look today, but when I know I'm going in that direction, I don't feel the need to go as full on with the brows. Like, I don't know, I feel like a heavier eye can handle a heavier brow. Just my theory. Here's the Boost and Set. It's the tiniest little brush ever in case you haven't seen me use this yet, and I love the hold that it has, and it gives that little extra tint to your brows. It's like if you're in a big hurry, this could be the one-step brow product. But I kind of feel more comfortable going in with that pencil and just making sure everything's the way I want it. And then this is my, okay, Now stay there. I enjoy it. I like it very much. I might not do anymore. The look might stop here because I'm so dang pleased with the skin. But I will prime my lids with my Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. Just trying to use it up. And then we're gonna be using that Sugar Peach on the eyes, my friends. For a very simple, very fresh look. By the way, I am still watching Dawson's Creek. We are into season 6 now. The last season. What am I gonna do when it's gone? What show can I ease into after Dawson's Creek to soften the blow of being done with Dawson's Creek? I'm already mentally preparing myself for that. So here's what's up for eyes. I go into the Peach Honey shade with like my normal crease brush, my Sigma E25, and I find I can get a little just natural definition here when I pop it in my crease. Yes, it has sheen and shimmer, but not heavily, really, when you apply it like this. I mean, if you wanted to pack it on in a swipe, you know, see a swatch of it on my finger there, yeah, it looks all out metallic, but I've said this before in videos, it's all in how you apply it and the style of brush you might use, the style of application, I mean, and this allows you to pick up a little bit more on just what the pure color of that shade is. So I go into my crease with that and kind of above. May not really require a separate brush for this step, but now I'm just kind of blending out my edge. Then I'll take the lightest shade, and that'll be the highlight under the brow. It'll tie in nicely with what's on the cheekbone, you know. And then, my loves, I mean, you could choose to work in the peach or this kind of golden pink, but I'm just gonna take the highlight shade. This is what I've been doing. This is what I really like. And I'm just gonna dab this all over my lid for a nice gentle sheen. Keep in mind, you could do this wet. They call this a wet dry palette. And I go around the innermost corner too. See how beautifully it did that? But I don't know, I feel like I've been doing a lot of deep, kind of rich, fall type looks. Been trying a lot of different eyeshadow palettes, and there's something about this kind of look that feels sort of like a breath of fresh air to me right now. Then I'm gonna add in one more thing. I'm gonna go to my Faith shade from my Needs palette here, just to add a little extra darkness right here in my outer corner. Something about that. Suddenly this is like pulling everything together for me and making me really like the look of the shades from that Too Faced palette on the eyes. It just needs like the addition of one extra shade, or if you're using, let's say, a matte bronzer at any point in your look, whatever it may be, doesn't have to be this palette. Any just mid-tone neutral shadow you got sitting around, grab for that, just pop it in your outer corner, and then I feel like you've got the perfect amount of contrast to complete an eye look with this. Now, while I've got the Needs open, I think I may also go into Faith with a pencil brush and just let that lightly define the lower lash line. Just, you know, while she's handy, we'll just do that. Then, this is another one of those things kind of like my brow products. Like, I don't know if it really gets special favorite status because it's like my child at this point. It's my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight. And I just pop that in for added wakefulness. I shoot these videos in the morning, so mama gotta do what she gotta do. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that the lash situation here maybe can't qualify as a favorite yet because I haven't been doing this for long, but I feel like I've come to a valuable realization that I wanna share about something. And it is the use of this Maybelline The Falsies, which I'd used in the past. It came back to me recently in some PR package. I had used it in the Subscribers Choose My Makeup video, and I felt like it gave me great length. It has some really long, like little microfiber bits in here that want to attach to your lashes and lengthen things out, but I felt like it kind of dropped my curl. So I started experimenting with this over a more defining mascara, such as this like CoverGirl Flourish by Lash Blast. I find this to be more of a defining, separating mascara, and the end result is great length and a curl that holds. So just wanted to throw this out, and I feel like, you know, I'm going for a linerless, just really easy eye look here. And if you're gonna do that, you want your mascara to really pop, and I found that these two together are a pretty good team. But I think you could use a lot of mascaras in place of this. Just think of what you have that's not too bulky on your lashes, that tends to be just defining, separating. And I think another key is to layer on the falsies before this gets completely dry. But I'm putting the Flourish on now, as it's called. It's not terrible. I mean, it gives my lashes a pretty enough look, but I want more. Okay, one coat, quick coat of the Flourish. Now, I'm taking the falsies. Make sure that little end goop is off. It's a technical term. Just wiggle this up through, and those fibers kind of attach, and I feel like you get a really lengthened out look. Like, bam. Notice I got like a little lip scab here? Since when does that happen? Normally my lips just kind of peel, but I got like a dry lip scab. So we are using a product that's gonna be kind to the lips after this. It has been a long, long time since I've used like the CoverGirl Lash Blast in the orange tube. It's possibly been years since I've had that mascara on hand. Now I put some CoverGirl Clump Crusher Water Resistant on the lower lashes because that is a mascara I love and trust on the lower lash line. Honestly, that probably would have been fine also as a first step before the Falsies mascara. But when you feel like your mascara is like 95% dry, so it's still got just a little ways to go, but it's not like majorly transferring off on your fingers, blink down onto your fingers and reinforce the curl. And look at how beautifully everything ends up. Then for lips, I'm going to use sort of a tinted lip balm. This is something from Buxom called the Powerful Plump Lip Balm. And I got this as part of a little 4-piece set, which I'm no doubt going to be doing a review on. But this is the shade called Fiery. It's sort of the reddish shade, warm red. And as you can see, it's got this rounded tip, and it feels smooth as can be going on. But the color intensity is really there, and I almost feel like there's a little bit of staining that might be going down with this too. But it feels just buttery smooth on my lips, and how about a finishing touch? And you feel a little tingle, like a cooling sensation type thing after you put this on. Not painful, just sort of a little bit like, but maybe not as intense as what it feels like when you apply one of the Buxom glosses. I haven't been using this long enough to really claim this as a favorite, and I need to experiment more with some of the other shades in my kit, but I am enjoying this so far, and I hadn't heard anything about these until, you know, just this little kit. But do you see why this look makes me feel healthy and fresh again? And it's not necessarily the look that's the favorite, but it's the products individually. They happen to come together really great, I think, in this look. But that fabulous foundation, couldn't be more impressed with that Bare Minerals concealer. Rediscovered Powder Love here, of course. This is a fun little thing to play with, the Sugar Peach. The mascara trick, hopefully that helps you out. I don't know how many people have that mascara on hand or aren't 100% satisfied with it, but it builds nice length on top of other stuff. It's kind of like reverse lash primer. It's the effect you want to get out of lash primers, but they rarely deliver on it, so you just top it off and it's awesome. Speaking of primers, I need to get out my little black primer, my Estee Lauder little black primer. My mind's moving fast and I'm not even on any Sudafed right now, y'all. Just about half a cup of coffee down at this point. I would like to say thank you guys so much for your time. Let me know if you enjoy seeing the best in beauty displayed in this way in a try-on manner. Even if I don't have favorites that amount to a full face, I could always include more demos or, you know, just take you through it a little bit more. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.